Mera. I think that was right. The next 20 minutes are all yours. It's my second time in Greece here. It's the first time I'm here officially on the topic on the Fourth Industrial Revolution. So those of you who don't have a seat, come in front because I will use the whiteboard a little bit, go a little bit forth and back. I must be honest to say, this is the shortest time I ever have to talk about the Fourth Industrial Revolution. So my wife normally tells me, when she talks to me, are you finished with your speech? So I will take the time that I need. What I want to explain you a little bit, I want to highlight to you what is the Fourth Industrial Revolution, because what I heard here shocked me to the core. I mean, like, I'm totally flabbergasted. I have no idea, especially when I hear somebody from the university defining the Fourth Industrial Revolution. I am flabbergasted. I am shocked to the core. Everybody around the world knows it. And so I will define to you what is the Fourth Industrial Revolution, what does it mean for Greece, what is the opportunity you have the next 2 years. The next 2 years you have. What should you do as a government? And what should you do as a business world? I have nothing to sell to you, so you hear the unblunt message. Okay? Good. A little bit about myself. I'm from Denmark, so by design I'm very direct. I must say, I want to tell a little bit personal story here for you, because this is the hero's journey. I learned a couple of things about Greece when I was in school. And one of this is a simple version on the hero's journey. Hero's journey is all the Greek methodology went through a hero's journey. I went through a personal life, a hero's journey. You go through a hero's journey. I want to help you to eat the own medicine that you have been preaching to the world. What you need to embark on the next 2 years is a hero's journey. Every movie is made on the hero's journey. Hercules stories, Zeus stories, all of these stories are made on this. And they normally start this. You live in a known world, and you go from the known world to the unknown world. As a hero's journey, you live in an ordinary world, you get a call to action, you get a call for an adventure where you want to move. And that, you will normally have a refusal phase. It will be structured, it will be difficult for you to move. In that phase, you will meet the mentor. Your mentor will illustrate to you your superpower you have. You have in Greece a superpower. You need to find out very fast your superpower. In a very short period of time, you need to come together as a government, as a business world, as a financial institution, and as citizens. You need to come together to find your superpower. And in that space, you merge down to the unknown world. The unknown world will go the journey where you will go through temptation, trials, and errors. The trials and errors are the most important thing for you. You learn how to use what makes you unique, what you need to stop, what you need to focus on, what you need to do more of. This is the space where you transform. This is the space where you innovate. In this space, you will find the growth. You will find out what you need to change. You will go into the direct abyss. The abyss means where you will meet death and you need to resurrect as a hero. This is the normal journey. Then you will go up here, you will step into your next role. You will restore order in the old existing world. I learned that in school, you learned that in school. There's nothing new to this. I'm telling you this because this is very much related to the Fourth Industrial Revolution. The Fourth Industrial Revolution started in 2008. I was asked by Chancellor Merkel to do the German strategy with Henrik Kagermann, Professor Scher. Henrik Kagermann and Professor Scher are giants in Germany, just so you know. Co-founder of SAP, co-founder of our process thinking. Very, very big giants. Now they chose me. I'm a Danish person. You know, the prophet is never seen in his own city. You will have the same problem in Greece. If you want to do fundamental changes, you must often come with a message that comes outside in. It's very difficult to do it inside. Even though these two guys are giants, Somebody else needs to push the message directly out. So what we discovered there in Germany is very fundamental, and I will just highlight that to you. Normally, when one trend pushes on an organization or government, you have 3 to 5 years to change. This was in a crisis. So what Angela Merkel asked us was to say, we need to fundamentally change this. And before we can grow, you need to focus on productivity level. So productivity level has to be up by 2% 2 years in a row in order to get growth. So we called all the industry leaders together and focused on how we can get productivity level up in Germany. Germany is very hierarchical. Everybody gathers together, all the big guys. We discuss how we can do it, and we outline a strategy. This is called the digital agenda, the digital theme, Internet of Things today, what IBM wants to call it, right? It's called digitalization, digital transformation, digital innovation. This is digitalization. That happened in 2008. If you're not on that boat, you missed it. If you start to talk here in Greece about digitalization, I'm sorry, the change gap is too big. I will tell you how you can leapfrog that. So the reasons why we focus on digitalization, because these 5 trends are merging together. Cloud, mobile, Internet of Things, social media, Internet of Things, right? Can you hold your phone up? In 2008, your phone is not what it is today. Your phone was separated. That was a time when it all collided together. Your phone today is very, very different. So that led us to, we announced it in 2008, the European Union was excited. In 2009, they asked all European countries to implement it, and they have implemented it. Most European countries have implemented it, right? So that led us to, when we were drinking, they were drinking their beer, I was drinking my water, we discovered something fundamentally is changing. And that's where I can disagree with the professor. What I heard is totally, utterly nonsense. Industrial revolution is a fundamental change that changes every aspect of our life, how we interact, how our industry works, our competitive borders. It changes everything like never before. We are under the biggest change of human mankind ever. And it's based on 5 paradigm shifts. I'm sorry. Yes, 5 paradigm shifts. Here's the funny thing. That's also the opportunity for Greece. That's a huge opportunity for Greece. What you see here, when you want to have a slight view on the 4th Industrial Revolution, the Industrial Revolution is an evolution. It emerges in waves, in 3 distinct waves. So one thing, when you want to go home and tell your wife what it is, it's the colliding of 3 worlds together. The digital world, the physical world, and the virtual world. So when you look in manufacturing, you can take your phone, you can take a device, and you can connect it with everything around it. That's digitalization. You can connect your phone with any other device around you. The virtual aspect in it, you can look on your phone, you can have a WhatsApp call with your team, you can look on your business warehouse management where you can track the performance of where the part number is. It's virtual, right? Then it's physical. It's a physical in a way we have never experienced it before. You can scan the wall and you can see the angle. You can see how large the wall is. You can see the compass. You can see something that is virtual and have it on a physical device here. It changes how manufacturing will work. So I was very, very excited on the last panel, the 2 ministers, and the minister before, I think it was the minister of export and import. A little bit radical thinking, but right thinking. Because the idea, when you have something, you need to fundamentally change it. So the 4th Industrial Revolution is the colliding of the 3 worlds. What are the 3 worlds again? Physical, digital, and virtual. Good. From a skill perspective, from the minister, it's fundamentally a shift of 3 skills merging together. modeling skills. This is strategy and competitiveness and modeling. Engineering skills. And IT skills, architecture skills. These three worlds are merging together at a very, very fast pace. That means we need to upskill in a very different way. Now, she's on the right path, the Minister of Education. Totally right path, right? I would even put her more on steroids, right? Because what is it that a company competes on? Competencies. How are you building competencies? Education. How do you differentiate in a country? Competencies. So you must focus on not to have the same set of skills like other countries. If you have a comparative competitiveness, you have the same skills. So that means the first wave has already happened. The second wave we are in right now. And the second wave, each of these are fundamentally elements, technology shifts. You hit on the water and it changes every aspect. Every aspect of our industries, how we interact, how we consume, how our economy works. The second wave is also the most disruptive one for governments. That's why my call to action for you. When I came here, they told me, oh, be careful. When you meet the Prime Minister, he has a bad omen around him. Everywhere he goes, there's an earthquake, right? I want to turn that around. We need a Prime Minister that creates an earthquake. We really want to create an earthquake. We need ministers that are focusing and doing something fundamentally different. I would like to meet him. Why? We need to create a fundamental earthquake here for you. Here's the potential you have. Everybody focus on the first wave and second wave. The third wave, and here's the element of exponential, right? Exponential is difficult for us to understand. The first step I take here gets me here. My step 38 gets me to the moon. My step 39 gets me back to Earth. Do you understand exponential? When you think something is here, whoo, it gets directly into your face. That means the disruption of this is the biggest challenge. The third wave is the biggest change of all. It will change the setup of industries. New emerging industries are here. So what is the mistakes that you can do? Well, you can do like everybody else and be totally obsessed with technology and only talk about this. This doesn't matter. This is technology you apply. Let me tell you something in a very straight manner because I'm from the Nordic region, right? Don't compete with the Germans on manufacturing. They will outcompete you. Don't compete to develop technology and innovation. Everybody else will outcompete you. You don't have a heritage on technology innovation. Don't go there. You will be failing because you compete on something which is not your core competency. You must develop this for years. The Germans has developed for years the element of manufacturing. They are hardcore good at it. I have not seen any country being able to compete with the Germans on manufacturing. That's their pumping hard. And they stand back on back again and again, and the government supports them regionally, educationally. This is an industry you cannot compete with. But here's what you need to think about. What is it that you need to do in Greece differently, right? Who's the leading feta provider in the world, or here in Europe? Who's the biggest provider for feta in Europe? Denmark, my country. Arla, who's the biggest producer of Greek yogurt? Holland for Europe. Who's the biggest producer for olive oil in Europe? Italy and Spain. Who's the biggest producer for olives for Europe? Israel and Italy. What does it tell you? It tells you something that you are really good at, you have not been able to capture, right? That doesn't mean that you should go in and compete with it. That means you should think about where you compete now, you need to move on building competencies where you can outcompete. These are the fundamental principles of competency building and outcompeting. Very simple. Everybody focus on exponential innovation. Everybody talks about technology here, right? The reason why the fourth industrial revolution is exponential is because they are the 6 paradigm shifts, and one of it is technology. The other one is a far more hardcore, and just think about that already came out 10 years ago, right? That means they only tell you what they can sell you. So be careful. You are Greek. You are fundamentally thinkers. You must learn to think for yourself and how to apply it now. You cannot buy this from a Deloitte report, McKinsey, Deloitte. You need to apply it and learn how to use it. So paradigm shift number 2. We are in the 6th extinction period of animals. The last 15 years, we have killed 25% of animals, and by 2025, we have killed another 25%. That means as a humans, we have accomplished within 30 years to kill 50% of animals, right? I'm not talking about whales and tigers and elephants. I'm talking about bees. 69% of bees died last year. Ants, moths. Why are they important? Because they're part of our agriculture, our ecosystem. So, is that a business model that Greek can go for? Yes, very much so. What is the unique thing about ants? What is the unique thing about bees? What is the unique thing about moths? The simple thing is you have a queen, you send it out, the queen builds a hive, all the hive dies, the queen is being sent back. What is this? A license model. It's nothing else than a license model. Can you build a license model by being the Noah's Ark for Europe? Nobody invests 5 years to gather all the bees, to control the bees, to mark the bees, and do a business model out of this. This is business, protecting the environment and this, right? You can go to the next one and say, well, we are in an overconsumption period, right? We are consuming more than what we can produce. What is the business opportunity we have in there? We need to change the way we package. We need to change the way we ship. We need to change the way we produce. Is there a real business model in it? Yes, there is, right? That means if you re-innovate how you do plastics, if you re-innovate the supply chain, if you re-innovate how we produce food in a more environment-friendly element, this is the demand of the consumer. If you will have it, you will have a higher business model. Now you compete price head on head. If you can have something that the consumer wants and sees a higher value in it, they will pay more for it, right? If we go shopping, my wife buys the environment-friendly stuff. Who's the decision maker? Me and my wife? My wife. Good. That already answers the question for you, which business model is the smartest one to take? So the next one is we are in a new economic area. 5 minutes, good. I will do that very short. The other ones, if you want to learn it, I can give you a session later on, a little bit later, right? Fundamentally, our economic principles are changing. Productivity level is not the same as before. Growth level is not the same. We should live in a shared economy. And so the other parts I can tell you later, right? Wanted to highlight this portion a little bit, right? This is the business model for government. So I've been doing 19 strategies for government. So what are the lessons learned you have in government? Number one, you cannot do a report. If you do a report, you do a political strategy, short term, you do have an industry 4.0 strategy, you put it out, there's no fundamental changes. You do an economic free zone, you do a little bit polishing on the education, that's it. But there's fundamentally no changes. Lesson number two, what you can do. You can go in and change the core. When I did the strategy for Germany, I used 6 weeks, 3 evenings a week. I had dinner with Angela Merkel. Why is it? She was a busy lady. Why is it she used 1.5 hours on me 3 times a week? She wanted to understand what is it we compete on, what is it we need to change in the infrastructure, what is it we need to change in the environment, what is it the ecosystem of the government works, how is it we need to change the tax system, how is it the pension system is working. She did fundamentally changes. The strategy was a 15-year strategy. Let me tell you how fundamentally it was when she realized it. Just think about you are a mother and you have your favorite child, the automotive industry, and you slaughter that. And you say by 2025, 70% of the industry in Germany is based on automotive. Just think even when you say you slaughter your favorite child, it says this will be no more. This is like Greece going in saying, you know what, tourism. By 2025, we will make more money off something else. This is how fundamentally big the strategy is. And Germany will be energy independent by 2022. They will have no more dependency on the automotive industry by 2025. That's a very, very bold statement, right? When Greece wants to do that, it will only work when you as a Greek people decide to support who you have on head of the elements, right? I don't know the prime minister. I don't know the ministers, right? But the most important thing is, independent of your political view, they have the chance to change fundamentally your country for the next 10 years. Whatever decision they take, support them. Back them up fully. Let them do mistakes, right? And support them. Why? You need to do trials and errors. You need to do this. Now in closing, I know I'm finished, so I'm gonna go a little bit too. Businesses is a little very different. Any business leader that is here, you need fundamentally to change and understand the elements on how business works. You can only manage and take decisions in value chains, business model, and operating models. There's no chance for you today to manage the business silos as you've done before. You need to go to these guys when you're a mid-market company and get education. Fundamentally, because this is, you need to have a new level of understanding on what a driver and a force is and how you react to it. You need to model yourself, your own value chain with your executives. You need to design your service flow, your core element on what you compete, what you out-compete on all these elements. This is really, really important. Now, I have a little bit of time, so I can go for it well. I want to close up with something. The fourth industrial revolution is the colliding of the three worlds. But the centerpiece of this is the human being. What is it that makes us unique as human beings? We can change. We can adapt. We can support. People sell to people. People connect to people. People have visions. People have ambitions. People have drives. We have the ability to overcome and change every challenge that is upon us. So in the fourth industrial revolution, when you focus on the technology, you're doing the fundamental mistake. You do the copy and paste. You must focus on the other parts where you are strong, where you don't have competencies, but you need to build competencies. You can take a higher price for olives when they're environment friendly. You need to build the competencies now, not when the Italians come with it in 5 years. You need to build it now. You need to build new industries that are coming on bioinformatics, nanotechnology, and all of them. Why? They're entering into the food industry. I can already tell you now, in 5 years' time, the dominating industry in meat will be based on enzymes. Good. Are you on to that? No. The dominating industry that changes biopharma fundamentally is nanotechnology. Are you on to that? No. Do you need to be on to that? Of course you need to be. You need to be building skills that the other ones don't. That's the fundamental element to it. So here's my hope. We live in the greatest time ever. We never had so much food. We never had so much money in our hands. We never had so much free times on our hands. We are the most blessed generations of any that walk on the planet. but we are also the one that are most accountable. By 2030, if we're not changing now, we are the generations that will be judged by the other generations, that we did not take the right path. We are literally at a crossroad for human mankind. Greece plays a significant role in that. Everybody of you needs to lift where you stand. So I believe that everybody of you where you stand can lift. I think everybody of you can change where you want to change. I know I need to change. I know I need to change fundamentally. I was raised, like most of you, ambitious. By 25, I wanted to have my first million. I drive 2 cars today, a Porsche Panamera Turbo S, and my wife drives a Mini, right? Why do I do that? Because that's how I was raised. That's recognition, right? Is this important? No. Do I need to change my behavior? Yes. Do I need to change the way how I consume, how I travel? Yes, I need to change that. I know I need to change that, right? I have 2 children, and I hope I can get grandchildren too. I know the way we produce, we consume, we ship, we need to fundamentally change, right? And this is the opportunity for many of you that are here. This is a new message for you. And every time you hear a new message, it's difficult because you go to the unknown world. You hear something from me now, you say, whoa, whoa, whoa. I thought it's just about artificial intelligence and data and digitalization. I said, no, 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 no. It's far more. The opportunity for you resides down here. And here's the challenge that you will face. You need to learn to think functionally and act strategically for yourself. You need to learn to think for yourself. Do you know how difficult that is? You are compulsive by design. So you will go to Google. You will just, your thoughts cannot be held more short term. You need to train yourself to think, because the Greeks are one of the greatest thinkers that have created our societies that we live by today. That's my applause to you. Thank you very much.
Henrik, thank you indeed for your inspired and human-minded speech. I have one practical question for you, because you know that Greece is full of small and medium-sized companies. And can you suggest some first steps for these companies to follow in order to move faster to the Industry 4?
Yes. So there's tons of opportunity, right? When it's small and medium businesses, the executives need to be educated how to use that. That's where your organization goes in and sets up education models where they train them on the latest management principles so their managements can take decisions, right? There's tons of opportunities out there, tons of opportunity out there. You just have to think about how to use it, right? The biggest challenge, for example, in oil and gas is safety 4.0, right? Mm-hmm. One thing that you should be really good at is supply chain.
Yes.
But when you link supply chain with accounting, you can manage assets. So if you can link this, you can easily build something. There's tons of opportunities out there. The challenge will be for you a little bit on how to create innovation and transformation.
Okay. Thank you very much. We have many questions for you, but the time has finished. So we have to thank you for your presentation. Κυρίες και κύριοι, συνεχίζουμε το πρόγραμμά μας με ένα μικρό διάλειμμα και ακολουθείτε